Okay, so before we get into anything, I need you to be honest with yourself right now. Not with me, with yourself. Has something been feeling different lately? Like things are technically fine on the surface. She's still there. You're still together. Nothing has blown up. But something underneath just doesn't feel right. Like you can't put your finger on it, but you can feel it. Maybe she's been a little distant. Maybe the warmth that used to be there has cooled off, and you're not sure when exactly that happened. Maybe you've noticed small things, little things that individually seem like nothing, but together they are starting to add up to something that makes you uncomfortable. And here's the thing, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the jealousy, suspicious, insecure boyfriend who is going through her phone and questioning everything she does. Because you know how that looks, you know how that feels, and you've probably told yourself 100 times that you're just overthinking it. But here's what I want to say to you before we get into these signs today. Your gut is not your enemy. Your gut is the most honest thing about you. And when it keeps tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, something isn't right here, at some point you have to stop silencing it. Start listening to it. So that's what today is about. We are going to talk about the real practical everyday signs that a woman is seeing someone else. Not the vague wishy-washy stuff. Actual things you can look out for. Things that, if you are honest, you might already be seeing. Hi, my name is Ellie. Welcome to my channel. This is a space where we have real conversations about relationships. The kind of conversations that people need to hear, but not many are willing to have. If you're brand new here, welcome. Hit the subscribe button because we do this every single week and you're going to want to come back. All right, let's get into it. Here are the 6 signs your woman has another man in the picture. Sign number 1, you genuinely cannot keep track of where she is. And I don't mean this in a controlling way. I'm talking about something much more basic than that. There used to be a time when you roughly knew what her day looked like. Not because she reported to you, but because that's what happens naturally when 2 people are close. You know each other's routines. You have a general sense of where the other person is and what they are doing. But now, you call, she doesn't pick up. And when she does call back, the explanation doesn't quite land. She was out, but where? With who? The answer is always a little vague. She went there, then here, did this, come back, and somehow you still don't have a clear picture of how her evening went. And when you ask follow-up questions, not interrogating her, just asking normal couple questions, something about her answers feels rehearsed, like she thought about what to say before she said it. Here's what I want you to understand. A woman who has nothing to hide doesn't have to think before she answers. She just answers. It's natural. It's easy. When the answers stop being easy, when they start feeling calculated, that is something worth paying attention to. Don't convince yourself you're being unreasonable for noticing that. Sign number 2, there's a man she keeps mentioning. Now listen, women have male friends. That's normal. That's not what this sign is about. This is about something more specific. This is about a name that keeps coming up. A specific person that, whether she realizes it or not, she talks about it a lot. His name comes up in conversation where it doesn't really need to. She references what he said, what he thinks, what he did, what he finds funny. And at some point, you start to notice, I hear about this person a lot. And when you bring it up, that's when it gets interesting. Because a woman who has a perfectly innocent friendship with someone will not make you feel crazy for bringing it up. She will talk about it openly. She will explain the friendship without getting defensive. She might even laugh about it. Babe, she's just a friend, relax. But if instead of that you get defensiveness, if your question triggers an argument where somehow you end up looking insecure and controlling, something is wrong. You asked a fair question. A fair question does not deserve a war. The fact that she went to war over it tells you exactly how much that friendship means to her. And I want to say something else here that is important. You don't have to wait for something physical to have happened for this to be a real problem. If she is emotionally invested in another man, if he is the person she goes to, talks to, laughs with, lean on, you have already lost something real. Don't wait until it becomes undeniable before you address it. Sign number 3, her phone has become completely off limits. This is one of the most common ones and honestly one of the clearest. Think back to area in your relationship. Was her phone something that was just around? Did she leave it on the table? Leave it in the room? Hand it to you to look something up without even thinking about it? For most couples in a healthy place, the phone is not a big deal. It's just a phone, right? Now think about how things are right now. Does the phone go everywhere she goes? Does it never leave her hand? Has the screen brightness mysteriously gotten lower? Does she tilt the screen away when she's typing? Does she take calls in another room now? Calls that she used to take in front of you? Has she changed her passcode and not mentioned it? Because that one right there, that one is a significant move. Think about that. She had a passcode you knew, she changed it, and she said nothing about it. That is a deliberate decision to lock you out of something. And if you brought it up and she made you feel paranoid for noticing, I need you to hear yourself. You noticed something real. The paranoid one doesn't make sense here, okay? Now, I'm not saying go through her phone. I'm not saying demand access or make it a whole thing. No. What I'm saying is notice the shift. There was a before and there is an after. Something changed. Ask yourself, what? Sign number 4, the affection is gone and she's comfortable with that. This one hurts the most and people don't talk about it enough. At some point, things between you shift physically and emotionally. She stops initiating. She becomes harder to reach, not physically, but emotionally. The warmth is just not there the way it used to be. She doesn't reach for your hand. She doesn't lean into you the way she did. She doesn't look at you the same way. And here's the part that is the most telling. She's fine with it. There is no tension on her end. She's not missing the closeness. She's not pushing to fix the distance between you. She goes about her days completely unbothered by a gap that is eating you alive. When two people are going through a rough patch together, both people feel it. Both people feel the friction and the distance. But when one person has completely checked out and seems content, seems almost lighter somehow, that is not a rough patch. That is a person who has found their comfort somewhere else. Don't explain it away as a phase. Look at it for what it is. Sign number 5, she picks fights with you over things that don't make sense. This is a big one that most men mislead completely. When a woman is emotionally pulled towards someone else, she will sometimes unconsciously or even consciously start creating conflict in the relationship she's trying to mentally exit. It sounds backwards, but think about it. If she can convince herself that you are difficult, that you argue too much, that you are not meeting her needs, it gives her a reason. It makes what she's doing feel justified in her own mind. So what happens is she starts arguments that come out of nowhere. Small things become huge deals. She's irritable with you in a way she wasn't before. If you find yourself constantly confused because you feel like you're doing everything right, but somehow it keeps becoming a problem. And when you try to have a calm conversation about it, about the fact that things have been tense between you, it escalates or she shuts down completely. Either way, there's no resolution. There's never a real resolution because the argument was never really about what it was supposed to be about. If you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your own relationship, if you feel like you can't do anything right lately with no clear reason why, pay attention to that. That shift in the atmosphere is not random. Sign number 6, she treats him better than she treats you. And this is the one most men overlook completely. Because by the time you see it, you've already normalized so much of the other behavior. Here's what it looks like. She's short with you, but she's warm and patient on the phone with him. She's too tired to make time for you, but somehow she's not tired to meet up with him. She hasn't laughed freely with you in weeks, But when his name comes up on her phone, she lights up. She has no energy for your conversation, but she has all the time in the world for his. You know what? You're getting the leftover version of her. The drained, distracted, going through the motion version. And he's getting the version you fell in love with. That's not a coincidence. People give their best energy to where their heart is. When your partner's best is consistently going somewhere that isn't you, that tells you everything about where her heart actually is. You don't need more evidence than that. You don't need to catch her in anything. That alone should be enough for you to have a serious conversation about what is actually going on. Okay, so we've gone through all 6 signs. And if you've been sitting here nodding along, I need to say something to you directly. Do not keep quiet about this. Do not keep sitting with this feeling alone, convincing yourself you're overthinking, waiting for undeniable proof before you say anything. Because here's the truth. By the time the proof is undeniable, you've already wasted so much time. Time you could have spent getting your answer, making a decision, and moving in a direction that is actually good for you. You are allowed to have a direct conversation with your partner. You are allowed to say clearly, something feels off. I need us to talk about it. And I need you to watch what happens after that, because the response you get will tell you more than anything else I've said today. A woman who loves you and respects your relationship will not make you feel crazy for being honest about how you feel. She will not attack you for being vulnerable enough to say something is wrong. She will show up for that conversation. She will try to fix it with you. And if she doesn't, if she deflects and attacks and makes you feel like you are the problem for having the conversation at all, then you have your answer. And you deserve to do something with that answer. You deserve a relationship that is whole, not the one you have to keep investigating. My name is Ellie. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.